The Minister of Communication and Digital Technologies, Mondli Gungubele, says artificial intelligence can bring in $136 billion worth benefits for South Africa and other developing African countries. Gungubele was giving a keynote address at the National Artificial Intelligence Summit at the Johannesburg Business School in Auckland Park this morning. The minister was sharing the contents of National Artificial Intelligence Plan with key stakeholders in ICT industry. Gungubele says the government should give young people an opportunity to work in the industry at an early age. We're joined by Arthur Goldstuck from Worldwide Work CEO. Arthur, there's a general assumption that to a certain extent people know what we're talking about when we're talking about artificial intelligence, which is a wrong assumption. Not everyone fully understands what artificial intelligence is about, but it will have an impact on all of society in the not so distant future. So just for the benefit of those who might not fully understand it, what is artificial intelligence?
Mfundo, there's a lot of definitions of it, but generally speaking, it's seen as the ability of computers or machines to behave as if they are human, but not really replacing humans, more being able to automate the roles that are usually performed by humans, but that are repetitive or that can be performed by a machine or a computer. And you could say it's the information age version of the Industrial Revolution, when machines first took over the physical labor of humans in manufacture. Now we're seeing it taking over the digital role of humans when they're working on computers in particular, but doing repetitive work. So it's not that it's going to replace humans as such. It's going to replace. It's going to augment humans in the sense that it will enable them to get the machines to do the repetitive work for them and to the work that doesn't require decision making. But any role that requires decision making is not going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, certainly not for the foreseeable future.
So what of the data or the stats that we've seen of late that says that possibly by 2030, at least 800 million jobs would have been lost?
What we are seeing and what we have always seen is that jobs that were required in the past to do menial work that can be replaced by machines or computers will disappear. But we've seen that for many years. And one of the great examples is in banks and financial services institutions, where they used to have a floor trading job where people would stand on stock exchange floors and shout out what they wanted to pay for shares. That was replaced already a few decades ago by the ability to do it on computers, and that eliminated vast proportions of that industry. But those people moved on to work where they could apply more thinking and more strategy, for example. That's just one example. One of the examples that the World Economic Forum gave recently was that a judge, for example, is not going to be replaced by AI in terms of making judicial decisions, but AI is going to enhance the ability of the judge to make the right decision. And that is the kind of thing that we are going to see enhancing many industries and many jobs. And the fears of AI taking away jobs are justified in certain areas. But let's take a call center, for example. Where the call center work can be done effectively by AI, it should be, because it's frustrating for people to talk to a human being who can't help them quickly and efficiently.
But a number of people are employed in call centers, so that becomes the problem, that you speak now perhaps making the example of a judge. That is more specialized, but we have a lot of people that are doing the more general work. So what happens there? Because it's even a concern in just mines alone, where we're seeing mechanization. We have mines in Australia now that have machines underground, not humans. Mines here in South Africa hire a lot of people.
There's no question about that, but what we are seeing in call centers is not the jobs being replaced, but rather the call center agents now having an AI agent at their side, helping them to operate more effectively and more efficiently, and it's making those businesses more efficient and more productive, and that enables them to employ more people. What we're seeing in factories, like, for example, the Ford factory in Pretoria, where when they introduced high-level automation about a decade ago, from employing one shift of 1,500 people, they now employ 3 shifts of 4,500 people because they became so much more productive and the products became so much more in demand worldwide. So there's a lot of those examples that will emerge in the coming years. New categories of jobs will emerge as well. So that has always happened. In the 1920s, the horse buggy drivers of New York were up in arms because of this thing called the automobile coming to replace them. And it's that kind of argument that you're now seeing around AI.
So you're basically saying there's a lot of potential where AI is concerned, and I suppose many scholars would agree because they've said that the decisions we take now will determine how AI impacts our productivity growth, our income inequality and industrial concentration. So what decisions should government take on AI now to advance our economic aspirations?
Government shouldn't itself try to control AI. It should regulate it from a point of view of privacy and ethics, and there are certain things that it should require that AI not be able to do in terms of violating people's rights. Government hasn't been great with that, but an excellent precedent is the POPI Act, the Protection of Personal Information Act, where government took best practice globally and applied it to privacy in South Africa. So they should do the same with AI. As I say, they have a precedent. They have shown that they can do that. But where it comes to the economy benefiting from AI, government should be providing incentives for training and education in AI. There should be tax breaks for startups and companies investing in AI or producing AI products and developments. And that's what would give a tremendous kickstart to that sector. And then what one can also add to that, though, is that the private sector in South Africa and across Africa, in fact, is already among the world leaders in AI innovation and implementation. There's a company in Cape Town called Aerobotics that is a world leader in using drones to take video footage of crops and orchards and then uses AI to analyze them to improve the health of crops, for example. There are many examples like that. In my book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to AI, I, in fact, emphasize the extent to which Africa shows the world how AI can be applied to the challenges facing humanity.
All right, Arthur, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Arthur Goldstock, Worldwide Works CEO and author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to AI.